Americans who live along the East Coast are still reeling from the knockout blow of Storm Sandy. It landed furiously, cutting off power, communications, and travel. At least 40 people across the U.S. are reported to have been killed. Sandy transitioned from a hurricane to a post-tropical cyclone by the time it hit shore. Still, most New Yorkers had never seen anything like it.
The day after Sandy came ashore, the full extent of her wrath on New York City is revealed. Heavy flooding in lower Manhattan, tunnels and buildings flooded, pumps working to get the water out. One of the busiest in the world, Grand Central Terminal still closed to commuters with trains sitting idle on their tracks. Watermarks on buildings show just how high the water reached, a warning from the city's mayor as the cleanup starts.
We expected an unprecedented storm impact here in New York City, and that's what we got. So while the worst of the storm is past, conditions are still dangerous. I just can't stress that enough.
The financial markets were still closed Tuesday, but it's not just the banks that are already feeling the financial punch of Sandy.
At South Ferry Station, even a decent pair of boots won't get you anywhere near the subway. Where there should be a sea of passengers, water now covers every inch of this station and many others. 7 tunnels are flooded, leaving escalators submerged, waterfalls on the stairs, and tracks out of action.
Sandy wreaked havoc on the entire transportation system, the subways, the buses, Metro North, and the Long Island Railroad, in every single borough of the city and in every single county of the MTA region.
Sandy slammed into the New Jersey shore last night with winds of 80 miles per hour and more in some places, bringing with it an overwhelming surge. The Associated Press reports at least 16 U.S. deaths are now being blamed on Sandy across 7 states.
Having been on its knees, the east coast of the United States must now get back on its feet. But that will be easier said than done, given the extent of the devastation caused by Sandy, one of the worst storms ever to hit the region. Entire communities in New Jersey have been submerged by sand and water. An estimated 8 million homes and businesses are without power.
From our house, we literally saw, it was like a river with every wave that came in and crested down. The destruction brought not only seawater, but gates, parts of the boardwalk, trees, debris like you couldn't believe.
All day, people surveyed the damage, the worst of it in the city's boroughs like Staten Island.
When they tell you to stay inside, stay inside.
Sandy is now pushing inland. Blizzards are paralyzing areas of West Virginia, North Carolina and Tennessee. President Barack Obama has warned that the storm isn't over.
My instructions to the federal agency has been, do not figure out why we can't do something. I want you to figure out how we do something. I want you to cut through red tape. I want you to cut through bureaucracy. There's no excuse for inaction at this point. I want every agency to lean forward and to make sure that we are getting the resources where they're needed as quickly as possible.
The president will tour Atlantic City in New Jersey later. This is where the storm came ashore Monday night, leaving devastation in its wake. Barack Obama is off the campaign trail for now, but in the cynical game of politics, the images of the president in command doing his job are invaluable. His efforts have been praised by the New Jersey governor, Chris Christie, a Republican. The Republican candidate to the White House, Mitt Romney, turned his campaign stops into storm relief events, hoping to stay in the picture.
As far as what we're going to be talking about, we're not done with Sandy. I'll get to the forecast when I see you in a few minutes, but I want to focus in on what's been happening to the airports here. LaGuardia is, as you know, and has been sustained extensive damage here, so we're closed indefinitely here. LaGuardia remains closed. JFK is going to reopen at 7 a.m. So if you have a flight that is going to try to come into the United States, first and foremost, check with your carrier. Second of all, at least the airport now is open, but there is such a backlog that despite the fact that the airports are reopening, we're going to have extensive delays throughout the day. Newark Liberty, that also reopening in New Jersey at 7 a.m., but Teterboro remains closed for the time being. So those are the things you have to keep in mind. Also, if you already have booked travel into the United States and into those specific airports here, some travel tips for you here. As far as the airlines, if you have travel booked through Wednesday and into Thursday, they will refund your money if that's what you want. If you want another flight, they will also forego the fees that we normally, of course, incur when we try to change our flights here. But you have to do that by November 7th in order to forego those fees. So that's what's going on as far as the airports. We'll keep checking in and we'll talk about the forecast and the fact that Sandy is not done.